Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 1 versus 1 on Colombelles, and in this one I'm not actually playing. It's going to be Bets, a friend of mine, versus Mr. Duran in a 1 versus 1. And Bets is going to be playing the 91st Luftlande against the Scots division. So it should be set to be a very interesting one. A lot of people deem the Luftlande to be one of the weakest decks, and also the Scots to be one of the weakest decks, especially now that they've been nerfed. However, this video, or this replay, is actually from before the nerf. So this is where the Scots still have a 20 armor AVRE in phase 1, and also have the Crocodile in phase A. Sorry, not phase 1, but phase A. And yeah, so Bets is going to have to be dealing with that. Now after the nerf, you can no longer get Crocodiles in phase A, and you can only get the AVREs only have 18 front armor, so they're a lot weaker than they used to be. But either way, here we are on this map, Colombelles, and we are going to be seeing it from a different perspective. We are going to be looking at this from left to right, because I'm going to be commentating from a neutral perspective. I haven't watched the game back personally. Bets has given me like an idea of some of the stuff that happened throughout the game, but in general I haven't really looked into it too much. Over on this left side we have Mr. Duran, and he is going to be starting with a Crocodile. He has an AT gun, probably for the top side, with an infantry squad. He then has the MG for the factory, alongside 3 rifle squads and the command carrier. Now that's another thing that's been nerfed since, is the rifle squad's veterancy has been decreased quite dramatically. So he still has the up-vetted rifles from the last patch. He also has an AT gun for the center, and also the other thing is you can see that the icons are different. That's another way you can tell that this is the last patch, not the current patch. Bets just has a couple of these Colombelles. One's got a Recon squad there, and he's got another Colombelles MG squad, Colombelles MG like car with the machine gun on it, and that's just to cover the bottom side of the map. So it looks like most of the contention is going to be based around the factory. Got plenty of these Colombelles coming out. Colombelle with an MG, then he's got 3 trucks, probably with Ersatztruppen, and then a command infantry squad. Then he has another command infantry squad with an MG and 2 more Ersatztruppen going down to the bottom side of the factory. And he has an AT gun for the top side. This seems pretty standard on this map now. Sort of just people take AT guns to the top side with a Recon squad maybe, and then deal with things that way. And then he's got an Ersatztruppen for between the factory and the top side. So just sort of trying to space himself out, trying to get a lead very early on. Has actually made quite a lot of ground already. 2% lead currently. So that's quite good. Needs to make sure that he can get into position to hold the factory properly. Colombelles MG is going to be caught out on the bottom side. Does get hit by the 6-pounder. The Colombelles that was carrying the MG got hit almost directly there, but this MG34 needs to get into cover as soon as possible. But is going to be pinned down in the open, and that's an MG34 going down for Bets very early on. Is not ideal, but he does have the Ersatztruppen just to hold the line, and he is having them backed up by the Horschenführer, which does definitely cancel out the poor morale slightly. However, the rifles up-vetted with the 2-star veterancy can do a lot of damage to Ersatztruppers especially. AT gun does destroy the Colombelles MG in the center, and down in the bottom, well, Recon doesn't provide any sort of presence on the front line, so as you can see, a lot of ground being made in the blue side's favour. Looks like some rifles managed to get pinned down here, got themselves surrounded by multiple Ersatztruppen. MG34s managing to cover the backside of the factory as more infantry cover up. And this Vickers MG should make a difference now. Does have 2-star veterancy, should be able to pin down some of the Ersatztruppen. This Colombelles MG is making a lot of ground up top, so that's just going to cancel out ground being made down bottom, and a +1 lead still in Bets' favour at the moment, and then it's ticking up once again. These Ersatztruppen, well, with them both being pinned down here, they are going to be taken out with the help of this command carrier. At close range, the Ersatztruppen don't really have much to fight the command carrier, so Horschenführer are going to be brought up here, and they're going to use the AT grenades to try and take out the command carrier. But, well, with the command carrier being 3-star vetted, the rifles being 2-star, and the Vickers HMG being 2-star, well, the command squad actually goes down very quickly. Both of those trucks were actually taken out there before the infantry could even drop out. So the HS-129 scoring a couple kills on rifle squads. Very, very nice indeed. Gonna be a quick couple kills. He's now got some ersatz trooping coming down to the bottom side of the map to protect the line here, cover off that. And this Kubel MG, I'm not entirely sure what that's doing, but it's definitely making its way back to friendly territory. We have the HS-129 here coming in for another pass. This is going to be going for the Lloyd carrier. Lloyd carrier does actually take out the, well, it does actually get taken out by the HS-129, but the Vickers HMG squad surviving that one. I'm really surprised that this 6-pounder gun here is actually on return fire, because that requires the AT gun to actually be spotted before it fires. Very odd thing to do with an AT gun. It's great in like a ambush perspective, but in general, especially with this like this Kubel MG running around all over the place, you really want to get something to deal with that. Now 2 units of rifles being dropped out though to try and take care of the Kubel MG. Kubel MG doesn't actually have any ammunition, so infantry squad should be able to take it out eventually. This HS-129 is still flying about freely. Looks like Betz has brought up some replacement Ersatztruppen, and he's now got a Fallschirmjäger to hold the line. So Ersatztruppen pushing back on the depleted squads of rifles in this HMG squad. Looks like these rifles up top are being pinned down by the MG34, so that's absolutely fine. This Kubel MG is sort of backed off from the engagement with the rifles, as there is a Honey Stewart on the way. There is going to be a Panzer 35 moving down in the bottom side of the map, and another one on its way. There is a Honey Stewart here, AT gun and rifles for Mr. de Doran. But he's definitely looking to make a little bit of ground back on the bottom side, and it is currently 50-50 with some presence being found for Mr. Doran in the factory. Now this AT gun's forcing the rifles to be dropped out in the field there. Now this Kubel MG is most likely going to get run down by the Honey Stewart. But that's okay, that Kubel MG definitely did work, managing to harass the backline for quite a while. This Fallschirmjäger getting caught out in the open, this is really bad. The Fallschirmjäger there going to be surrendering to the rifle leader and command carrier, as that was a very ambitious push across the open there. Now these Ersatztruppen, well, they're going to definitely be taken out, and I think Betz noticed that obviously this command carrier is going to do a lot of damage to the Ersatztruppen if he lets them. However, these rifles, they're not doing great either, as they get caught out in the open by the MG34, so things swinging backwards and forwards at the moment. The +1 lead now currently for Mr. Doran. With these rifles sneaking up alongside the 6-pounder and the Honey Stewart. The Crocodile is slowly working its way up on the bottom side of the factory. And now the engagement being moved forwards as the HMG moves factory buildings with the rifles, and they're going to be opening up onto the Ersatztruppen as soon as this command carrier gets on target with 3 stars. Does so much damage, but Betz does have a answer for this with the Panzer 35, so that's what he's going to try and do, take that out. Needs to be careful he doesn't get caught out by the Crocodile though. But the command carrier is going to be killed. Now he's just got to identify that this Crocodile is here, and therefore do something about that. In this bottom side, well, the rifles were spotted out by the Ersatztruppen and did have an engagement. It looks like the Honey Stewart was taken out by the Panzerschreck squad there, the Panzerschreck squad with the Recon. Very, very nice, and it looks like it's left Betz with the tank down south without there being a Honey Stewart to defend. So another one being brought in for Mr. Doran. Now a Crocodile engaging with the Panzer 35 in the centre. Pack 36 is being brought up to fire down onto the Crocodile. However, not the best move in my opinion, because the Crocodile has just killed this Panzer 35. And well, the Pack 36 isn't going to do much either under the fire from the Vickers HMG and so on. Another Jaeger squad going to be going down here to the Crocodile as well. But that's not particularly great either. The Crocodile is going to get a shooter knockout, and now is being shot in the side armour by the AT gun. The AT gun, if it had the 20 AP rocket on target, could definitely do a lot of damage to the Crocodile. But because he's not within 300 meter range, that actually doesn't have 20 AP power like it signifies. And these Fallschirmjäger have been brought over, and these guys have a Panzerfaust. And I think they might be in range. No, they're ready to fire, not quite in range to hit the crocodile though. They can't really move out in the open, otherwise they'll get pinned instantly and taken out. And currently they are pinned, and this VulcanHDGaming squad down to 1 health. So Betts is not having too much fun in the factory at the moment. 2 MG squads here now, alongside these rifles and the rifle leader. It's buffing all those up. If you could get rid of this rifle leader, that would be fantastic, because then they wouldn't have all this veterancy that the rifle leader is giving them. The constant criticals from this Pack 36 is ensuring the Pack 36 isn't actually going to be taken out just yet. Constantly firing those shells. He will eventually penetrate, especially considering this Churchill is showing side armor. Just casually shrugging off the shots at the moment though. I think possibly that might have a track damage. There's no reason why that should just be sitting there like that. Ah, there's a crew wounded. There we go. 26 seconds, and this might allow the VulcanHDGaming to get close enough to use his Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust, as soon as they aren't shocked anymore, will be able to take out this crocodile, but it really relies on the rifles actually firing upon them. Eventually the VulcanHDGaming are going to be told to fall back instead. So down on the bottom side, well, things going to start to happen here. 2 Bren group going to be taking on 2 Ersatztruppen alongside the Honey Stewart, which are trying to find the Panzerschreck squad. Up top, the Honey Stewart engaging with some of the infantry squads up here. Just got to stay away from that Fallschirmführer. One of the HMD squads goes down up there. That's quite something actually, because having 2 Vickers HMGs is a lot worse than having just 1. So yeah, looks like Betts is going to be benefiting from that HMG kill. He did manage to take out one of the Bren groups down the bottom here, Betts, with all of his infantry, so that sort of stopped that push for now. Ersatztruppen providing a little bit of a problem here. It's like this Honey Stewart's trying to deal with the Panzer 35 before dealing with the Ersatztruppen. So the Ersatztruppen currently are throwing their little grenades to try and take that out, but you know, that's not open top, so they're not going to do too much there. This crocodile is still proving to be a little bit of an issue. Has managed to move on since being constantly stunned by the AT gun, which eventually got taken out. The Ersatztruppen being forced to fall back from the rifles squad. And now these VulcanHDGaming are trying to get into this building, so they are in range to take a shot at the crocodile. They are definitely being a pain in the ass. It would be good if Betts actually had both of these squads on target at the same time. He's going to be bringing up the other one to start engaging these rifles and maybe actually start providing some morale damage, because this Ersatztruppen is not having a very nice time with only 4 men left. Now they're starting to return some damage, which is great. Pack 36 is going to be starting to attack the crocodile from the front, and now there's actually a Pack 40 coming into the factory from Betts. Just managed to hold his ground, even though he was pushed on very hard at the start. Loads of reinforcements coming in from Mr. Duran. I'm really not sure who's going to win this at the moment, because currently Allies are ahead with the +1 lead. Honey Stewart opening up fully onto these Ersatztruppen with its multiple machine guns. And of course that is definitely going to do a lot of damage to that squad, pinning them down and hopefully eventually making them get killed basically, or surrender. Finally the HS-129 comes in again from Betts, and that finishes off the crocodile this time. But he's got one less big tank to worry about. Flanking maneuver going on here. These VulcanHDGaming opening up onto the rifles, and he's moving down these VulcanHDGaming to try and make a difference down the bottom side. HS-129 is trying to go for a run onto the Honey Stewart. Well, it looks like these VulcanHDGaming might be able to get a shot into the Bedford there. I think they actually missed it, hit next to it. These rifles will get cut down in the open, especially with the cover from the MG squad. Those 2-star VulcanHDGaming are definitely going to do a lot of damage, although with the rifles being 2-star as well, yeah, they're not going to surrender straight away, but they definitely did in the end. Being covered on by an MG there is definitely an issue. Oh, it looks like the HS-129 is going to take out command carrier. Can it take out the Churchill as well? It had a shot, but it didn't actually land it, so that's a shame. Other way in the bottom side, Ersatztruppen gonna be pinned down more reinforcements coming in. These Bren groups opening up onto the Ersatztruppen. One of the squads just surrendered. The Panzerschreck squad down here, the Recon Panzerschreck squad, has now been spotted since they've been ran out in the open. Got to be careful they don't be taken out by the rifles. These rifles, though, getting very low on ammunition. They don't have any ammunition for their actual rifle, the Lee Enfield. So they're actually managing to get away from that with plenty of health. And this one squad, Recon squad, should be able to take out the Bren group on their own. Now in the centre, well, HS-129 coming in again for another pass on to the Honey Stuart. And now this Pack 40 is in position. Panzer 35 trying to get close to the Honey Stuart as well to make a difference there. So the engagement's still happening in the centre. Many rifle squads being enclosed upon by Jaegers, Ersatztruppen and all sorts at the moment. They are currently being pinned down on the edge. That's going to allow these Fallschirmjäger to get very close. And the Fallschirmjäger are going to sneak up from the bottom side as well. These are actually really quite depleted squads, and the command carrier goes down there as well. So Betz is really starting to make some ground with his elite infantry. There was a load of reinforcements coming, but they all got pinned down by this MG and the AT gun before they could even get to the factory. So Betz did a really good job of cutting off the reinforcements. The F-109 as well comes in with the rockets to dislodge one of the rifle units. Down in the bottom side, well, it looks like going to be two Bren groups and a rifle squad trying to take down the Recon, but the Recon are actually going to force the rifles to surrender. And wow, that was pretty impressive by the Fallschirm Panzer at rear. Very, very good job by that squad, forcing those rifles to surrender at such close range. The reason that works out is because they're not only two-man veteran squads, but they also have 4 MP40s, which are great submachine guns for close range. FW-190 comes in there, takes out the infantry squad, and now he can advance and counterattack on the bottom side. If he takes out this AT gun, he gains so much ground. Betz really looking in a good position now, especially with taking back the factory as well. AVRE is going to blow up one squad of Fallschirmjäger. So goodbye to them. But these rifles now being pinned down, making crossfire from the Grenadier squad and the Panzer 35. Also this MG34 still pinning down enemy rifle squads up top. AVRE is going to be firing off again very shortly into the Grenadiers here. And boom goes that squad. All 6 men dead very, very quickly. FW-190 coming in again. That's going to be bombing the 6-pounder AT gun. And as you can see, as soon as that AT gun goes down in the bottom side, well, Betz is going to make a ton of ground and the +1 lead goes in his favour. So the main issue here is literally all of the reinforcements are being pinned down by Betz's machine gun. And that's pretty sloppy, honestly, from Mr. Duran. He could definitely have come down the train tracks and come in from the side that he has control of, rather than just going into the top side, where obviously the map is more in Betz's favour. By the way, great job by Betz too. It definitely makes back some ground after it looked like he was having a very hard time. And now he's managed to get this Recon squad with the Grenadiers in a very nice position, possibly take out these reinforcements. A Dingo being brought up by Mr. Duran. Not often you see these. Dingo literally just has the little machine gun in the front and does provide the command capabilities to upvet surrounding units. AT gun is going to be picked off by the BF-109, this Recon squad, making sure that he could see that the entire time. The Panzer 35 is going to be bouncing off the AVRE. I think the AVRE is actually out of range to be firing back. But an AVRE can actually blow up a Panzer 35, no problem, if it can get in range. Just got to be a bit wary about that, but as long as he's out of range, no problemo. So this Grenadier squad's taking a lot of damage at the moment. 2 rifle squads with the Dingo, really providing a lot of suppressive fire onto the Grenadiers. In comes bombs from the FW-190 G3, and that's going to pin down the rifle squad. Not actually do too much damage, definitely stop them from being fire effective. Now Betz is coming up with another command infantry squad to the factory. And I love the way he's using these Panzer 35s to sort of cover off his infantry squads. It's something that you definitely need to do with the 91st Luftlande. Honestly, it's easy to shy away from bringing in tanks because pretty much every other deck has better tanks than the Panzer 35s. But you kind of need them in a lot of ways to really provide the armor presence, especially against like a Scots deck, for example, where a lot of the infantry don't actually have AT weapons. You can get away with having these tanks in close combat, and it really can work out very nicely. The Grenadiers finally going to get pinned down on the bottom side here. They are going to be falling back, and Betts is going to be running away with his Recon squad as well. Another bomber coming in, FW190G3 again, just to pin down those squads and allow his men to retreat. In the factory, things still going relatively well. Does have a reasonably good foothold here, and he is bringing up some reinforcements. This Pack 38 is going to be trying to cover off from the bottom side, but is now firing at the AVRE. That AVRE just drives straight towards that Pack gun, because the Pack is probably just going to blow it up. So it looks like that's what Mr. Duran is going to try and do here, try and get it into the 600 meter range. If we go into the eye, you can see this is the effective firing here. As soon as that reaches the AT gun, the AT gun is doomed. This is really good. Betts is leaving this Recon squad here to ambush the rifles as they come. And you'll see the Recon squad definitely has a lot of DPS on top of those rifles. Having them pinned down is actually really, really great as well, because then you can just obviously free fire at them. HS129 coming in for an attack onto the Churchill 7. Not going to be able to get the kill. But yeah, the Recon squad here, as you can see, will be able to kill off the rifles very easily. Now up top, Betts is just sort of reinforcing his position here, bringing up some Grenadiers to cover off the top compound here. It's like a logging complex. And, well, more units just being slowly moved up through the factory. HS129 still flying about, but the AVRE couldn't really get in range of the Pack 38 because it was forced back due to morale issues. Bomber coming in again to cause these rifles to fall back, and this Recon squad has been absolutely hero throughout the game. Let's see where this HS129 is going. Can it get the shot onto the AVRE? No, it cannot. AVRE is going to be very, very stubborn mule. Now a Spitfire Mark 9 coming in to take care of the HS129, and that's going to do so very nicely. Recon squad is going to be taking out the rifles, and that is going to leave the Churchill open to attack from the Panzerschreck as well, and that's going to be a transmission damage right there. Only one shot left with that Panzerschreck. Now no longer in range though. These Grenadier squads are here pinning down the rifles, but bombs will do that better. So comes the bomber, the FW190, and the Spitfire isn't actually going to be able to catch up with that due to the FW190 actually being very fast. Now since the last patch, again, like, fighters have been increased in speed quite a bit, I think just relative to what they already were, just to make there be a disparity between bombers and fighters quite a bit. So it doesn't really affect this game too much. I don't think that Spitfire would have been able to catch up to the FW190 anyway. But either way, things still looking good for Betts in the middle. Pushing forwards with these Panzer 35s. He is being fired upon by Churchills all over the place, but he's not allowing his light tanks to be in line of sight of those. And that's allowing him to continue the fire onto the enemy infantry whilst not being countered by enemy AT, or in this case just enemy tanks. That's really, really good, because there is actually two Churchill 6s here alongside an AVRE, and I think what Mr. Duran could have done in this case is actually moved up the Churchills a lot closer to the enemy infantry, because a lot of the infantry at this stage of the game, especially for Luftlande, doesn't actually have AT. Like, the only real AT infantry is either the AT Recon squads, a Panzerschreck squad from the anti-tank tab, which only has 2 men, or like a Fallschirmführer with the Panzerfaust in the squad. But other than that, like, generally can pin down those sort of size squads pretty quickly. And with the amount of fire support that he actually has, you can see here, like these VulcanHDGaming, they're just going to get really, really pinned. And if not pinned, they're just going to die. Like, it's as simple as that. But pushing forwards with all these tanks would be a fantastic idea at the moment, especially this AVRA. That could blow the crap out of those VulcanHDGaming squads. Down the bottom side, well, more rifles going to be just pinned down for ages and under the machine gun fire from the Grenadiers now. FW-190 going to be brought in again, but this time not going to be dropping its bombs just yet. A Stug being brought up by Betts. This is going to be 3 stars thanks to the up veterancy from the Command Infantry Squad. And the Stug, I think, is just here to counter the Churchill. Looks like the Churchill might be the target of these bombs. I'm surprised not to have seen the Spitfire come in, because this FW-190 was actually in the sky for a very long time. Maybe it wasn't spotted though, not entirely sure. But if it was spotted, well, I'm very, very surprised the Spitfire was not brought out sooner. Another FW-190 coming in. Look at this engagement down here. It's so one-sided because Betts has the cover, and all of these rifles are trying to push across in the open. Of course, they're going to be sort of pinned down because of that. Churchill 7's still doing work, even though the transmission's damaged. So that's great. Spitfire Mark 9's coming in. Cover the skies now. Bit late, but there we go, that works. And now the Stug going to be engaging with the Churchills. So it looks like this Pack 36 is going to be taking fire from the 25-pounders. Also, there was a bombing strike onto this lot earlier. The AT gun with the return fire on that could probably have been useful for taking out the Panzer 35s, but there we go. And the AVRE did just fire at the Stug, but if it doesn't land next to it, it's not actually going to have that much HE damage, so that's fine. Down in the bottom, well, all of these squads still very much pinned down, and the +1 is still in Betts' favour, even though the Stug did just get killed. So this is really where he needs to like bring out some infantry. Duran needs to push forward some infantry and then use the tanks to cover off the infantry, because these Churchills at close range can definitely do a lot of damage. This AVRE is aiming at this VulcanHDGaming and boom, gone, just like that. And that would allow you to like run on infantry into those locations. And having the tanks so close works out nicely as well, because they don't have AT weapons. Like, it seems that the majority of the infantry in this game doesn't actually come with an AT weapon as well, so as long as you sort of know the deck you're playing against, you can definitely play off that. In this case, I think Mr. Duran's just being a little too cautious. Another really nice rocket strike there to pin down some rifles in the open. The Spitfire Mark 9 is going to be brought in as soon as that was spotted. I didn't really hang around very long though, and this HS-129 is going to get out of there before the Spitfire starts to become an issue. Back 88, that is going to be dropped off and is going to be starting to fire at the Spitfire. Another Stug coming into the centre. Finally, the Hero Recon squad does go down, by the looks of it, to the rifles and a combination of the Churchill 7. And this Churchill 7 take out the Pack 38. No, we can't, not yet. That is going to continue to provide critical shots onto the Churchill 7, if not destroy it eventually. The chance of penetration there must be about 2%. It's only literally got like 10 AP. No, this has got 15 armor. Not really going to be doing too much damage at that range. However, it can definitely pin it down if it manages to get the shots off in time. Now the VulcanHDGamers, well, they've run out of MG ammunition, same with these Grenadiers, which is why these rifles are now starting to actually make some ground. They are also covered by the Churchill 5 down there. Tanks finally sort of being moved forwards near the factory. But what needs to happen is we need some full squads of rifles. Looks like what these Bedfords are carrying. And then they need to be supported by these tanks as they move forwards and push back into the factory. Currently, he's just letting a lot of his infantry being fought out in the open without the support of all of these tanks. So for example, all of these men, they're engaging with infantry squads. They don't have the fire support, which is all here. Like, there's a command to it here. There's also a Churchill 6. There's also an AVRE. Why aren't they moving north to help the Grenadiers out? Now it just looks like the Fallschirmjäger are going to be taking out a Churchill, like Churchill just getting too close and not engaging properly from distance. There is going to be an infantry squad killed down there, and a lot of this infantry is being overrun down south. Churchill 5 is probably the prime Churchill to be taking care of these infantry squads thanks to its 12 HE power on the main gun. Another Panzerfaust squad being brought up, and if that's a Recon Panzerschreck squad, which I think it is, then it might be able to take care of the Churchill quite nicely. That's just the AT version, comes in the anti-tank tab. But it looks like Mr. Durand just surrendered. So, didn't really see that coming, but after, was that 28 minutes and 26 seconds, Betts is going to win by Mr. Durand surrendering. I honestly think that Mr. Durand maybe gave up a bit too easily there. I think maybe he lost too many infantry in the bottom side, so he was a bit wary. Maybe he ran out of infantry, because a lot of his infantry was being pinned down in the open and taken out. I think he definitely could have helped that by using those tanks in combination with the infantry to push back into the factory. That definitely could have worked out for him. He also had the artillery there, the 25-pounder guns, which also could have provided covering fire onto the Grenadiers and the Fallschirmjäger and so on. So I think he had a good opportunity to get back into that game, but he just chose not to. And in this case, well, 2,155 kills to 1,885 losses for Betts, and obviously the opposite for Mr. Durand. It's actually a pretty close game. Let's have a look at these kills. So the Vickers HMG, well, that got a lot of kills onto the Ersatztruppen, Fallschirmjäger and MG34s. HMG squads are so important. They really are. They're like the fire support, like, that does all of the work. AVRE definitely took out a lot of valuable squads. A lot of Fallschirmjäger going down there. The Spitfire Mark 9 did take out 2 HS-129, so that's very nice. Churchill 6 did a good job, and the Churchill 7 also took out the hero Panzerschreck squad in the end. If we go to losses, it's just the opposite. As you can see, the Fallschirm squad with the Panzerschreck absolutely ruining 2 Hanny Stewarts, took out the Dingo, took out an AT gun, 2 Bren Group, 2 rifle squads. Really nice kill list there from that hero Recon squad. And I think if this one squad here didn't do so well, Best definitely would have lost control of the bottom side of the map. HS-129 did pick up the Crocodile and the Churchill, so it did pay itself off probably before it got shot down. Fallschirmjäger and the Ersatztruppen doing relatively well. Pack 40 here picking off Churchill 6, Honey Stewart, and the Churchill 6. That's Churchill 7 and Churchill 6. So yeah, some very nice blows on either side with those kills. But I think Mr. Durand maybe gave up a little too easy there, especially with it just coming into like phase C and him getting the extra income and so on. At the end of the day, I think he just probably ran out of infantry and didn't really have much momentum left after he let a lot of his infantry get pinned down. I'm just going to leave it at that. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this 1v1 replay commentary. I do plan to do more like this, and I know you guys have asked a lot about the tournament that happened. I wasn't really aware that there was a 1v1 tournament, but if I could get my hands on the replays, then I would definitely love to cast them for you guys. If not, then I'm planning to probably run my own tournament at some point. I can't promise you guys when. Stuff in life recently has made things very difficult at the moment. So please appreciate this video, because it's been pretty hard work for me to get this out today. But in the meantime, that's all. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.